Hello and welcome to this Frontera Resources conference call. Today I am pleased to present Steve Nicandros, Chairman and Chief Executive of Frontera Resources. Please begin.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon or good morning from wherever everyone is calling in, but certainly good morning from Houston, Texas, and thank you for dialing in today to receive this update. First off, let me say what I plan to do is speak for about 30 minutes to provide you with an update of our business operations, and I have indeed received many questions that many of our shareholders have sent in, and what I plan to do is try to answer as many of those questions as I can as I proceed through with an update of our ongoing business. And with that, at the conclusion, if for some reason I've generated more questions or haven't addressed things that anyone may be interested in, please feel free to follow up with our colleagues at Abchurch in London, and we will work to continue to provide updates and additional information as we progress with our work. Let me start off by saying that as we work into the fourth quarter of this year here at Frontera, our work has been focused within our major strategic area of focus, which has been the greater Black Sea region of Eastern Europe, and specifically as you may know, the focus of our investments have been in the country of Georgia, within our Block 12 assets situated in far eastern Georgia, license area of approximately 5,500 square kilometers, or a little more than 1 million acres. And our work within Block 12, as many of you may know, is focused on both oil exploration and production, as well as gas exploration and production. And just by measure of orientation, working in eastern Georgia, we find our assets situated in an area that is part of a much larger oil and gas basin called the Kura Basin. And this basin extends from eastern Georgia, where we're working today, all the way to the southeast into the offshore Caspian Sea, which is several hundred kilometers away. And I highlight this to everyone because it's this focus for us technically that is very important, because this oil and gas basin is known for its technical prospectivity, and in particular, as it relates to our investments, is a basin that has been significantly underdeveloped and underexplored for many years. And so with the work that Frontera has been doing in eastern Georgia, we have over time invested in advancement of several oil and gas plays strategically within Block 12. And if you follow on our website, you'll note that these various oil and gas plays include the South Cahetcha Gas Complex, an area we refer to as the Shallow Fields Production Unit, another area we refer to as the Basin Edge Play Unit, and another area we refer to as the Shale Gas Play Unit. And over time, our investments have been directed towards advancement of each of these areas that have been of great interest to us. In most recent times, as we bring ourselves to last year, this year, the work we're currently doing, our work is predominantly focused on an area of the block that we call the South Cahetcha Gas Complex. And this is an area that comprises roughly about more than 2,000 square kilometers in size, and is a geologic province that has strong similarity to oil and gas plays that we see here in the United States, in particular here in the state of Texas. And so in many of the public statements that we've issued over time, we've noted that we draw a strong analogy to the work that's been done here in the United States because of the similarities we see from a technical standpoint. And so strategically, at the South Gehetty Gas Complex, we have focused on bringing technology from our work here in the U.S. To our work in Georgia. And let me focus first, in general, on the area that we're targeting within the South Gehetty Gas Complex. And I'll first talk about the oil work that we're doing. Throughout this complex, down to roughly 3,000 meters in depth, we find oil and gas potential associated with our work. And we've highlighted in many of our public statements the fact that when we talk about the oil potential through this area and the oil that we've discovered and are attempting to produce through pilot programs, this has been defined by an extensive amount of data that the company has acquired through this region, and that is added to data that we have acquired and processed from Soviet times. And so, in grand total, within this 2,000 square kilometer area, we have approximately 2,000 kilometers of 2D seismic, 150 square kilometers of 3D seismic, and more than 600 wells of modern and historical drilling that's gone on here. And I've highlighted this in the past and want to highlight it here at the outset of my discussion, because we're working within an area that is very well defined by data, and that's very important to us for the investments that we've been making in terms of the pronouncements that we've made with respect to the oil and gas potential for this area. We've had questions about reserve reports and resource reports, and as you can find on our website, the resource and reserve reports that we've published have shown a very large presence of oil and gas. And in the oil window, we're currently focused within the South Gehetty Gas Complex on the Terabonne field. And this is the field that our third-party reservoir engineering firm has placed about 800 million barrels of oil in place in. And this is where we find today the work that we've been doing to try to bring the Terabonne field into production through stimulation efforts of wells we've drilled, as well as existing wells that were drilled during Soviet times. And as far as that's concerned, as you've noticed this year from our announcements, we have advanced a significant effort to bring the Terabonne field into pilot production through frac stimulation. And the company has acquired its own pumping capacity, and this allows us to very cost-effectively deploy fracs into the reservoirs that we have targeted here. And the results of our work have really been quite encouraging. And as we've previously announced, we have seen very strong initial production rates, and from these initial production rates, we see very stable flow over time from the wells that we stimulated. And the significance of this is that it's taught us that the long-term productivity of wells here is indeed good. And what this has allowed us to do is build a development plan for the Terabonne that will see us drill a large number of wells. And I think earlier this year we announced that we've designed a program that's about 175 wells that all involve fracture stimulation. All of these wells have been designed and outlined from the work that we've done to date. And so all of the stimulation work, all the fracking work that the company has been doing is really with an eye towards preparing ourselves for a proper field development program. And so when we look out over the next 5 to 10 years for the company, what we're really focused on is bringing the Terabonne field into production and into development, utilizing these stimulation completions that have been modeled off of similar types of completions done here in the United States very successfully as part of the unconventional reservoir boom. And as we look at developing that, our strategy is to do so utilizing a variety of financial underpinnings. We will certainly use finance from debt finance from the marketplace to underpin this work, and we're currently in the process of working to secure that. In addition, as field development grows, we may see additional equity offerings to support that. And we may also see strategic partnerships to help us develop this. This is a very large asset, and I can't emphasize enough the historical work that we've done here to delineate this and really focus on developing this 800 million barrel asset. And for that reason, the company will have to look at a variety of financial and strategic partnership support for bringing this into production. The value, I think everyone can look forward and think about what the value potential is associated with this. As we look at today's commodity prices, it's important to remember that we're working in an onshore environment, which by definition should be a relatively low-cost environment. And because of that, we find attractive economics for the company as we go forward, given the size of the asset, the low-cost environment, attractive economics are available to us through a variety of commodity prices as time goes by. And so as we look forward, Terabonne is a major building block to the company's value. At the Terabonne field and in the broader South Tehachapi gas complex, if we go below the oil window and focus on the gas window, where we have also done a significant amount of exploration work. We've also noticed in our public statements reference to reserve reports we've issued over the last year related to gas. And our firm in Dallas, here in Texas, Netherland and Sewell, in addition to the oil assessments that they've done, have also given us an independent assessment on the gas as it relates to the Terabonne field. And if you will recall, Netherland and Sewell has provided us with an assessment of about 4.5 trillion cubic feet of gas in place just at the Terabonne field, and about a little more than 3 trillion cubic feet of gas recoverable from that amount. And so, again, I highlight this to really provide a summation of what we see at the Terabonne field and why we believe this is really our core asset within our Block 12 portfolio, and why, as we look to the future, why we see that as the anchor for our value creation for shareholders over the next 5 to 10 years, certainly within the next 5 years. Today, we're working within the Terrebonne field with a partner that we brought on a couple of years ago, a company called Barong Exploration. This is a private company that is working with us, and their work is side by side with our own. We're advancing. As with most all of our work, as we've seen a downturn in commodity prices, our whole industry moves a little slower, and I wish we could move more quickly overall, but we do have to roll with what the public, with what the market gives us in terms of commodity prices, and for that reason, we are moving a little more slowly than I would like. But nonetheless, I think the asset that we are focused on, together with Barong and together with the finance strategy that we have in place to fuel a much larger development, I believe will see us begin to harvest meaningful value over the next 12 to 24 months for the company. Let me move more broadly within the South Caheta gas complex to the rest of the area outside of Terrebonne. And for this area, we see a very broad gas potential from our work, and we have a second reserve report that we issued related to the western portion of the South Caheta gas complex. And this is an area where we have had a pilot gas production program going on for some time that you will have seen referred to as the Mitsara Heavy Complex. And this is an area where we have been able to, for the first time in Georgia's history, produce gas domestically into the domestic gas market. And as many of our listeners will know and will recall, this project took some time to bring to fruition, but the excitement we have around it is that it demonstrated to us that we're able to, in a pilot capacity, produce gas in the country, gather it, put it into a gathering and pipeline system that we constructed and brought from the U.S. here, and fed it into the Georgian distribution network. And that was important for us because what it has done is it's allowed us to see the positives of this, which is being able to produce gas and deliver it into the system. But it's also allowed us to understand some of the commercial challenges that exist associated with producing gas in the country. And as you noticed from our public statements, we have faced some challenges in the gas market in Georgia, primarily related to free market and competitive market environments that are trying to evolve in the country. And today, in Georgia, all of their gas is imported, and the entities that are importing gas to the country, in fact, have a monopoly on the domestic market. And as an independent company, we are working hard to break into that monopoly. And this has been the reason for delays associated with really realizing the full potential of what we're able to produce from our pilot production program. I will say that we're hopeful that with Georgia's recent signing of the European Energy Community's agreement, which is part of Georgia's EU Association Agreement, that this will open a greater avenue towards competition in the country for domestically produced gas. And our hope is that as we finish this year and roll into next year, that we will we'll be able to produce more and more gas as we work with the government to overcome these competitive challenges. We are focused on that because the large gas resource that our exploration work has indeed discovered are quite significant, and especially when taken into context of what I just described earlier at the Terrebonne field. Here, at the Mitsard Heavy sub-area of the South Gehetty gas complex, Netherland and Sewell has confirmed a little more than 8 trillion cubic feet of gas in place, with a recoverable number of a little more than 6 trillion feet. And this is, as you know, a massive resource for the company. And so as we advance our work at our pilot production program, we will continue to validate and advance to deeper and deeper horizons that constitute the majority of the gas that I just described. Throughout the balance of the South Gehetty complex, between these two areas, Terrebonne field and the Mitsard Heavy sub-area, we see an extensive connected gas province, and our internal assessments have placed about 200 trillion cubic feet unrisked of gas in place throughout this area. And that's together with our own assessment of about 18 billion barrels of oil in place in the oil window through this area. And so for all of this, and for all of our investors, of which, as you know, I am one, our excitement really stems from the size of the resource, the size of the reserves that our company has been fortunate enough through good science to identify and to outline and to validate through our third parties. And our work now is focused on trying to move from pilot production testing, both in the oil and in the gas window, and move into development work, hopefully starting next year. And like the oil work at Terrebonne, we've designed a gas development program that is part of our initiatives in the financial markets to attract capital to the company in order to fund these programs. And as I mentioned earlier, as with Terrebonne, we are also, as part of that strategy, we're looking to work with strategic partners in order to bring this massive resource to harvest value for our shareholders. The South Gehetty gas complex, as I said, is our anchor asset. The other assets which I've received questions about relate to other areas of our block. And as I mentioned at the outset, I've received some questions about the Basin Edge play, which sits to the northwest of our South Gehetty gas complex. This is a play that's quite different from the South Gehetty gas complex. And as you recall, several years ago, the company advanced a significant exploration program there, which currently is on hold. And our strategy is to bring the South Gehetty gas complex into production to generate a strong revenue stream for the company, and we'll use some of that revenue stream to fund continued exploration work at the Basin Edge play. And at the Basin Edge, you may recall through the reserve reports that we show on our website that we see over 1 billion barrels of oil recoverable associated with two very large prospects at the Basin Edge play, one of which you recall we have done extensive 2D, 3D, and drilling activity. And as I say, as the company advances its work, we will return to the Basin Edge play in order to continue that work. In the meantime, as we work to advance our work at the South Gehetty gas complex and possibly develop strategic partnerships with industry, it's not out of the question that we may see that strategic partnership include working on an area like the Basin Edge play in conjunction with our South Gehetty gas complex. Another area of our block that I've received questions on is related to our shallow fields production unit. And this asset is an asset that contains several oil fields where we have historically invested and done work. In particular, work at a field called the Mirzani field. And the Mirzani field, as many of you will recall from our information, is a field that contains as much as about 400 million barrels of oil in place, but yet has produced very little. And what we have learned over time in analogous scientific comparisons to our work at the Tarabani field, situated just about 30 kilometers to the southwest, we've seen very similar types of rock properties and reservoirs. And so what we have designed for Mirzani is that as we advance our work at Tarabani and bring it into production, we will move to the Mirzani field and really deploy very similar types of completion techniques to that which we're planning to apply in a development program at the Tarabani field. I want to leave everyone with the understanding that the Mirzani field truly is a very valuable asset, and with the size of reserves that Netherland and Sewell have validated with oil in place, is another important building block for value over the next 5 years for the company as we advance our strategy. We're coming to the end of our call here, and in the last 5 minutes of our call, let me address some of the general corporate questions that have been asked related to our some of our finance and performance work. As we end the year, we're currently working on a pilot production program that envisages us to reach about 2,200 barrels a day of oil equivalent from our objectives, and we're very excited about this program. If we're able to achieve this generates at today's oil and gas prices in the country a very healthy monthly revenue figure that will serve to make the company profitable. And so the losses that we've reported over time, which have been representative of significant investments to identify, understand, and delineate the massive oil and gas reserve base that I've described, we expect in 2017 to start reversing that trend and reaping the benefits of our significant historical investments here. As we close out the year, we have in place, which many of you have asked about, a liquidation process that is related to one of our subsidiaries that we've liquidated earlier this year. And as that process is still ongoing, I'm not able to give you more details around that, but I will say that it is progressing, and expect to be able to report back to the market before the end of the year on the conclusion of that process. But suffice it to say, we're advancing strongly into the next year, really focused on the programs that I've outlined here in the last 30 minutes. With that, I think I'm going to bring our call to conclusion. And I will say that I have received many messages seeking to have more calls like this, and we initiated this call and a new engagement with our friends at Abchurch in London with an eye towards really wanting to provide a better window into the work that we're doing. And so you can expect to have more frequent calls like this. And I do encourage all of those interested in Frontera, both analysts and investors, to please contact contact AdChurch with your interest, and we'll do our best to respond in manner in a way like this, or through our continued RNSs to the market. We do plan to undertake roadshows in the UK as well as other areas in the months ahead and early into next year, so that we can be a little more visual than I've been able to do here in this call, and be a little more interactive with rooms of individuals, because we really are very excited about our work. And I know I've mentioned this before, and many of you have noted it in your questions and messages, that we are indeed aligned with all of our investors. Our management team and I have invested in our equity, as well as provided very strong loans to the company. As you've noted from our published financials, related parties have provided close to $30 million of loans to the company, and all of that is truly in the spirit of believing in the work that we're doing here and the significant potential that our investments have uncovered. And so while I, like many of you, are a bit frustrated that we haven't been able to move more quickly on our plan, I will say that we are as confident as ever in our work, and are looking forward to very good results as we progress through the end of this year and into next year. And so with that, I'd like to thank you for your interest. For those of you that have invested, thank you very much, and hope to have others join us as we move to unlock the significant value that we've discovered to date. Thank you very much.
Thank you for attending. Participants, you may disconnect your lines.